Hey, it's been a while since I threw a video up. Um, as you're probably aware by now, there's basically a mass shooting every other day in this country. Um, and the media is focusing almost pretty much solely on gun control. So the idea is if we start outlawing firearms, make it very hard to get firearms, that we can um, limit or control these outbursts. Now, of course, as you probably know, I obviously disagree with at least outlawing firearms. I don't have a problem with a universal background check. Um, but to me, the bigger question is why is there so many mass shootings? Um, and really, the answer is uh, social instability. The economy has not recovered at all. Um, the numbers are catastrophic. Okay. 47 million Americans are on food stamps. You've heard me rant about that before. Of course, I believe in the food stamp program, and I believe it should probably be expanded. Um, that said, those numbers are bad. I mean, that's catastrophic that many people qualify for a poverty assistance program. Likewise, I've been waiting for the numbers to come out for the expansion under Obamacare of Medicaid. Medicaid is the insurance for the uber poor. Now, to qualify for this insurance, you gotta be poor as snot. I mean, really poor. Um, well, the numbers are in. 62 million Americans qualify for Medicaid. That is a shocking number. I mean, that is catastrophically shocking. Um, that is an unsustainable number. Not in the sense of the program, but in the sense that many people are that poor. You just can't have that many people that poor. Um, so, in regards to all the mass shootings, you're going to see this escalate and get worse. I mean, you're going to see random shootings, random stabbings, random outbursts of violence throughout the country. You cannot have this kind of income inequality. You just can't do it. No amount of gun control is going to fix this problem. I mean, you just cannot have this type of income inequality. Um, these numbers are breathtakingly shocking. And those are the poverty relief programs. For food stamps, 47 million, Medicaid, 62 million people. Those are the poverty relief programs. So what if you want to better your life? What if you want to get out of poverty and perhaps get a better job? Okay, well, that means you need to go to school. Cool. All right, so you go to college. You graduate from college, and you have massive student loan debt. Now, you get into the workforce, and the number one employer is Walmart. Number two employer now is Yum Foods. It used to be McDonald's. McDonald's fell behind Yum Foods. And apparently, Yum Foods' introduction of a Dorito taco has propelled them beyond McDonald's, which is ridiculous, but whatever. And then number three is McDonald's, the next big employer in this country. So you graduate college and you go into this environment where all the employers pay crap. I mean, what's the point of having an education when there is no job that will reward you for that education? There just isn't a job. So everybody's getting out of college with massive student loan debts and ending up working at retail or McDonald's or what have you, and they can't pay that debt off. Now, the number of people with student loan debt itself is a catastrophic number. 40 million Americans have student loan debt. Um, you just cannot have a society with these types of inequalities. Um, they're too radical. I mean, it's just too extreme. You're going to see extreme outbursts throughout the country. Gun violence, knife violence, car violence, violence in general. Um, People burning stuff down for no reason. I mean, you're going to see massive social instability and like militias. You're going to start seeing more militias. Um, of course, we've seen the militias go down and defend Cliven Bundy, um, which is ridiculous. I mean, he's not the person that needs to get defended, but whatever. I mean, that's their thing. But I mean, you're going to see that type of thing throughout the country over and over and over again. Um, I mean, this social instability, if it continues, which it probably will, eventually will lead to revolution. I mean, it's just going to happen. You're going to have an incoherent rebellion throughout the country, and stuff just going to burn to the ground. Um, any policy changes would be good right about now. Elizabeth Warren introduced a bill into the Senate that would allow student loan borrowers to refinance their debt. So, for example, my student loan debt is at 6.5% interest rate. Under her proposed bill, I'd be able to refinance that debt to a 3% interest rate, which would be quite helpful. Of course, that didn't happen because nothing gets through the Senate. Nothing. So it just died. Which is bad because that would have been a very helpful bill for the country. Again, 40 million Americans with student loan debt. That's a catastrophic number. 47 million on food stamps is a catastrophic number. And 62 million on Medicaid. It's just not sustainable. You can't have this system function this way. You just can't have that many poor people, and you can't just keep squeezing the middle class. Student loan, in order to get in the middle class, you have to get an education. In order to get an education, you have to get a massive amount of debt. That debt repayment, even if you manage to get a really good job, still basically depletes your income down to the point where you're effectively just like the working poor. I mean, there's no difference. Where I live, okay, to put this in perspective, my student loan debt isn't all that bad. I can easily finance it because I've been paying it down. Mind you, it's very hard to pay it down because they make it really difficult to pay it off. Even if you send massive amounts of payments, they find ways to divert that into interest somehow. But where I live, one of my neighbors is actually a doctor. I live in a one-bedroom apartment. My neighbor lives in a one-bedroom apartment, and he's a doctor, and he has to live there because that's what he can afford, because his student loan debts are outrageously high. I think he's pulling, his student loan debts are like $200,000. I mean, he's a doctor, cool, but still, that's an insane debt to levy on somebody. Yeah, anyhow, this is not sustainable. Things have to change. No amount of gun control is going to fix this thing at all. I mean, you're going to see more and more and more violence as our society slowly decays, because you cannot have the level of income inequality in this country that we have. And the media is so awful that, like, I basically just comment on media on YouTube anymore, just trying to point stuff out. I mean, you just can't have these numbers. Yeah, well, anyhow, I'm going to throw some links down below. There you go.